Learning to drive can be difficult. But it is possible, and recently I managed to pass my practical test first time. And so because of this, I thought that I should share with you my invaluable knowledge from a lot of sources on how to pass your driving test first time. So stick around and I shall share these tips with you, which should help you pass your driving test. So the very first thing that you're going to need to do is get your provisional license. Now obviously this isn't too difficult, but it can take a good while. So I'd do it as soon as you can, anytime from 16 onwards. And then that will allow you to book your theory test. Now your theory is another thing that you should get done as soon as you can. It lasts for about 3 years. So as long as you have passed your practical in that time, you'll be fine. And I would recommend doing that as soon as you can so you can book your practical test. If you want a video to help with this, I made one a little while ago where I sound dead, but it is useful. So watch that if you want. And I do recommend that you retain the knowledge from your theory test because it's applicable to the practical one too, so bear that in mind. So once you've got your theory done, your provisional license, and you have turned 17 here in the UK, I would recommend that you start driving as soon as possible. Now this can be with getting lessons straight away, or you can start out with your parents. Now I started doing with my parents and then I got lessons towards the end, but most people would say get lessons first, and that probably is the best way forward because the teachers will know exactly what to do and they'll very much support you along your way. So book some lessons in and get a teacher that you like, hopefully, and that you're comfortable with. And once you've got lessons, you're going to want to probably drive with your parents, you know, preferably in a small car, but it's not necessary because I drove in a Vauxhall Zafira with my parents. That's pretty much what I learned to drive in. I miss it deeply. And basically anytime they're going out for a drive and you're coming, just drive. Get as much experience as you can in all weather. There's unfortunately no point just driving when it's nice because you never know being able to drive, but yeah, just drive as much as you can. Hopefully you'll enjoy it too, so that will help compel you to do it. But yeah, just get driving. So you're probably going to want to have regular lessons. Now if this is with your parents or your teacher, you're going to want to have it often enough that you're not going to forget and have to sort of restart over again, and obviously listen to your teacher and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Now once you're a bit more of a confident driver and you're a bit more comfortable on the road, you're going to want to start to drive in some places that you don't normally drive in. So hop in your car and just get lost, basically. Not leave, just stay please, but just drive in random places, because this way you'll be able to react to different situations, different things, signs, all sorts of stuff. So that way you'll be used to reacting to things that might happen in your test, because you never know what's going to happen, and also it'll just help you have the general confidence and knowledge of what to do on the road even after you pass. Now the next one you're going to likely want to do with your teacher first to learn them, and then just keep practicing it with your parents. It's the maneuvers. Now I guess it's imperative that you do get the maneuvers down because you have to do them in your test, but if you just know that you can do them, then you won't be worrying about which one you get. You won't be worrying about it while you're driving around, and it'll just give you a really good head start if you can get them down. Obviously for normal driving as well, you've got a parallel park, goodly. And on top of that, it would be good to do test routes. Now hopefully your instructor knows test routes, because I'm pretty sure you can't find them on the internet or anywhere, but if you can practice them, it'll give you a good advantage as you know what's coming up, when and where, and you have to think less about where you're going and more about what's going on around you with people who like to drive into things like you. They won't hopefully do that, but just in case. Now the next tip is something that I just did specifically, and I know a lot of my friends have done and stuff like that, is watch videos on YouTube of mock tests. A good channel for this that I recommend is DGN Driving School. They're a great channel on YouTube. They basically do mock tests. The guy who runs it is called Pin, and he basically highlights the things they do good, bad, and it just gives you a really good way of learning from other people's mistakes instead of your own. And I found it really helpful just to sort of know what's going on around me with signs and what to do at specific junctions, stuff like that. Now, speaking of mock tests, you should probably do your own. I found it really helpful to go and do a mock test with my driving instructor. Basically, we went out and there was a mistake I made that if I had made on the actual test, I might have failed. So do those. It will familiarize yourself with the testing process, which is something you should definitely do, is make sure you know what's happening in the test and what to expect. But it also just gives you a bit of confidence to know you can do it. And if you fail the first few times, it's fine. That's quite normal. But then you'll go out and you'll know for the test, you'll be ready, and that'll just really help you along. It'll boost your confidence if nothing else, but also it just gives you a good experience on the road and in a situation that you haven't necessarily been in before. Now for booking a test, I would recommend not booking until you're ready. Now this doesn't mean book only when you're ready, but book for a time you think in the future that you will be ready, because otherwise you're going to be all stressed and it might go wrong, and obviously if you're not ready, you're less likely to pass. But bearing in mind, if you do book it in the future and you think, actually, I am kind of ready now, then you can get an app. Now I've used this one, but I know my friend has used this one. And basically what you do is you pay a little fee, I think it's maybe 16 quid or something. And then you can get your test brought forward. You can put in the dates, put in the times, all that stuff. And it'll basically notify you or book it automatically. And I had to do this a couple of times because my test got cancelled first. And then I brought it forward and I got the test and passed, obviously. So I recommend getting that if you want to bring it forward. But if you're happy with your time, then Great. So next, most people do their test in their instructor's car. Now, you don't necessarily have to. I didn't. I did mine in the Zafira, because that's actually what I learned to drive in. I don't miss the Zafira. But one thing you do have to make sure is that, one, you pick the car you're most comfortable, preferably have driven the most. But also, if you are driving in your own car, make sure it passes the regulations, which I should put up here. Like, you can't have any engine lights on. You have to have all the tyres pumped up. They have to be legal tyres, stuff like that. So just look that up and check that your car is, because apparently if you don't have it, they just won't do the test, which seems a little mean to me, but I guess they don't want to die. So in some ways it's fair enough. In my case, the Zafira had an engine light on until literally the day before the test when we got it off. It was pretty stressful. And no, that's another thing. If the car's ready, you will be less stressed throughout the test, which is definitely a good thing. Now, running up to the test, maybe a couple weeks before, whatever, you want to make sure that you're driving exactly how you would in a test. Just like, you know, hands on the steering wheel properly, looking in those mirrors and all that stuff, just to make sure that you're properly in the habit, and it's just less to think about on the test, you know, making sure that you're doing all the things correctly. So it'll be just second nature for you. Now, it's worth mentioning the show me, tell me questions. I'm sure your teacher would mention these to you, but make sure you know them all, because although you can't fail for not knowing one, it's just one minor that you needn't rack up, basically, or two if you get them both wrong, and I'm sure you can get them. So yeah, I would go for that and get them done. And now, the day before the test, try and sleep that night. I admit, I was quite nervous. I could really feel my heartbeat, which is weird, but it was very loud. So I didn't sleep that well, but try to if you can. It's pretty difficult, but hopefully you'll be fine. And finally, just be confident. I know it's kind of scary, and it is actually really scary, but just have a bit of confidence about you. Know you can do it. Don't be overconfident and then you just go and drive into a wall or something, but just be confident, be calm, and you will be fine. And at the end of the day, it's just a test. If you fail, you can do it again, but I am sure you won't. So I hope you have found this video good and useful. Bear in mind that I'm not an official instructor or any means, but it's just from my experiences. That's what helped me. And yeah, I hope you enjoy driving, and I hope it goes well for you. I'm sure you've got this. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe and stuff like that. Have a wonderful day, and I shall see you later. Bye bye.